Dr. Viktor Frankl penned one of the greatest classics ever, Man's Search for Meaning. True story, after Auschwitz, qualified as his whole discipline was logotherapy, which the premise basically is that everyone in life wants meaning. After the Holocaust in New York, 3 o'clock in the morning, the phone rings. It's one of his patients. This is documented. Dr. Frankl, it's so-and-so. I just thought as a courtesy, I would tell you that I'm calling you to let you know I'm going to commit suicide. It's pretty daunting call to get at 3 o'clock in the morning. Dr. Frankl stayed on the phone until 6 o'clock that morning. By 6 o'clock in the morning, as the sun was rising over the skyline of Manhattan, the patient turned to Dr. Frankl and said, I'm not going to commit suicide anymore. So obviously Dr. Frankl is a psychological scholar. He wanted to know what he said, what was the Achilles heel, what was the hot button that he pressed. So he asked the patient, what did I say that got you from a point of the highest form of nihilism, in being suicidal, to deciding you're to Dr. Frankl, you don't understand. It's nothing that you said. It's the fact that you stayed on the phone with me for 3 hours. I felt like somebody was listening. We grew up in a generation, I cannot tell you how many people tell me, young kids tell me, Rabbi, I'm speaking to my father's yarmulke. Yes, Moshe, absolutely. You want to end up? The concept of eye to eye, of touch, of quality time is something that touches not only the psyche, but it touches the soul. So the second concept, the first thing we spoke about is love at first sight, is the antithesis of what the truth is. It's really lust at first sight. The second thing we said that the secular world teaches us that pain is bad and that a happy life means a pain-free life. Before we do the third and then we wrap it up with a standing ovation. What I want to ask you guys is the following. What do you think, what's your name? Ida, what is the opposite of pain? Opposite of pain. Simple question. I've asked this question probably 3,000 times, and I get the same answer. And it's not. This is a normal, healthy answer. So you're not. I'm guilty of this as well. I grew up in the same society as you. If someone asks you what's the opposite of pain, you say
comfort.
Pleasure.
So everyone says pleasure.
No.
Very good. Who said that? Who said that? That's amazing. The opposite of pain is no pain. We grow up in a decadent society that says what? The opposite of pain is pleasure. Let me go through myth number 3. Myth number 3 is the concept of happiness. So the preamble of the Declaration of Independence of the Bill of Rights says we have an inalienable right of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Can anyone tell me what happiness means? There's no parent in the world, and I've also done this many times, what's the number one thing you want for your kids? This cliched hallmark adjective pops up, happiness. What is happiness? Is happiness going to Six Flags and going up and down roller coasters until you vomit? What is that called if that's not happiness? What's that emotion if it's not happiness? Screaming, shouting?
Excitement.
Adrenaline.
It's adrenaline. Why do people, explain this to me. Why do people climb up mountains, tie a piece of thing to the back of their ankle, and jump 600 feet until they're about to get their skull obliterated? Explain to me, what's the concept of bungee jumping? Is it fun? Is it happiness? Explain this to me.
You feel alive. You feel
Brilliant.
something. You really feel
This
it.
generation is so dead, you have to nearly kill yourself before you feel alive. In 2007, the bestseller on the New York Times list was a book called The Final Exit. It stayed on the hardcover and the soft cover of the New York Times for 10 weeks. It was called The Final Exit. Does anyone know what The Final Exit is about? The premise of The Final Exit? How to commit suicide. I promise you people were not buying that book as a doorstopper, and they were not buying it because it was a cool book to buy. This is a very unhappy generation. So let's understand the concept of happiness from a Torah perspective and from a secular perspective. Obviously, my hope and desire is that we can embrace some of these concepts, and there's nothing else in the world that I would want for you than to have a happy, successful life. The concept of where people got messed up is they use happiness and fun as synonymous. Now, I'm not an American, as you can probably hear. The first time that I got to this country, I've never heard this concept in my life. Okay, I'm from the English culture. I heard this concept, have fun. I've never heard this before in my life. I went from South Africa, I went to Oxford, then to Harvard. So it was a little bit more of maybe a British thing, and then suddenly I found have fun. What do you mean have fun? What is it? What are they really trying to say? I'm saying this tongue in cheek. I'm married to an American. I love America. What does it mean have fun?
Don't have a bad time.
Okay, so you're onto something. Meaning that something painful is bad, correct? Yeah. But we just said that a happy life doesn't mean a pain-free life. Is there anyone that you would really like to meet, that you would look up to, that is someone that you can learn from, that is a great person, that hasn't been through major things in their life? It doesn't exist. So let's talk about happiness for a second. Unfortunately, people have confused fun and this transient sense of what the opposite of death is as fun, as happiness. Happiness from a Torah perspective, if you translate the term loosely, it's simcha. It has the same root word as the Hebrew word for growth. Unless you're growing,